brand new season is here with us again. It's the Ghana Premier League preview show on LTF's TV. With me at the Accra Sports Stadium, it's a wonderful guy. He knows it all. He goes by the name Felix Roman. Felix, welcome to LTF's TV Premier League review show.
Well, I'm super excited to be here. New season, new ideas. We at Ghana League Live want to do more of the Premier League. We continue from where we left off, data, do the Women's League, the Division 1 League. So I'm excited to be on your channel for a preview show at the home of the champions.
Okay, great to see you at the Accra Sports Stadium. Felix, before we go deep into the preview of the new Premier League season, let's take a look at how the teams were preparing pre-season and all that. We've seen Asante Kotoko travel outside the shores of Ghana. We've seen Hasselhoff participating in Africa and other clubs also moving and then pushing hard for a better season ahead. Felix, your small intake on that?
Well, I think that for pre-season, it will be a bit tough for the teams because if you look at the COVID, you know, how we had to come back and continue on the league and the short period, because it was somewhere in August that the FA Cup final ended the season where Accra Folk defeated Ash Goody at Accra Sports Stadium, and then quickly went on a 2 weeks break, and then they had to report back to camp because they had an African assignment. So it was a bit short for pre-season, but the clubs have managed within that time also to sign players. Kotoko, you know, they have the cash, so they decided to do a trip abroad in Dubai. They played a couple of games that didn't go well in terms of results, but pre-season is not always about results. And aside that, you know, Midiama also have changed coaches. Ignatius have replaced the two Yao and Yao Preku and then Yao Frimpong. So it is all good for the top teams, and lucky for the newly promoted sides in terms of Accra Lions, RTU and Bibiani Gold Stars. They had the opportunity of playing a new tournament which was the Super Cup organized by the FA. So fairly you would say that pre-season hasn't been that, you know, impressive, but the time frame wouldn't allow them to have a longer pre-season. So they'll have to manage with that.
Talking about pre-season not being fair to most of the clubs, do you feel some clubs are standing at a better advantage coming to the new season with their pre-season preparations and all that?
For me, I think that the only team that might stand an advantage will be Accra Atofo, in the sense that whilst most of the teams had a longer period to rest before reporting to camp, they, because of their participation in the CAF Interclub Championship, means that they had to report back. So they spent, I think, 3 weeks after they won the FA Cup, so they had to report to camp. So coming into the new season, they will look a bit fitter in terms of physique, in terms of, you know, time that they've been together.
Better condition.
So they will be better condition to start the league. So it will be like the other 17 teams had to do a catch-up in terms of fitness to the level in which Accra Folk are. So in terms of pre-season, I think that the Phobians will be at an advantage.
Talking about the Phobians, do you feel they are in high spirits to embrace the new season, considering their abysmal performance and their last hurdle to qualify into the group stage of the Champions League?
Well, I won't call it abysmal. I think that for Hearts of Folk, the technical team, the owners and the supporters, they knew very well that it would be very tough, especially coming up against Wydad Athletic of Morocco. They have a lot of experience when it comes to Africa. You know, with the Kamsa game, the first runner, it was a game that Hearts of Folk needed to qualify, especially when it was a one fixture here at Accra Sports Stadium. They managed to win that. But against Wydad, it would always be tough for any of the West African team. And I've always been saying that in Africa, you need to have money. If you look at the teams that are playing in the CAF Champions League and the Confederation Cup, it is because they have money. A lot of the teams that have qualified for the group stages are from the north of Africa because they have money. We don't have money. So in as much as we might have the talent and all that, financially we don't have the muscles to compete with the North Africans and then even the Southern Africans. If you look at West Africa in general, it is always difficult for us to enter into the group stage of the CAF Interclub competitions. A few of the teams that have managed to break that barrier, look at Horoya of Guinea, they have the money. You look at TP Mazembe, they year in, year out compete with the North Africans. Look at Accra Atofo, they had to travel to Dubai, do a transit to Casablanca. When Wydad came to Ghana, they had a chartered flight. TP Mazembe have a chartered they have their own private jet that they travel around. So you look at the finances, and Wydad had a player costing about $1.8 million. The entire budget or the valuation of the league by the FA is $1 million for entire season, and that is the cost of one player playing for Wydad. So you look at the difference, the finances. It will be difficult. El Ali have about $30 million, dollars for their domestic and then African campaign. How much did Accra House of Folk get for winning last season's league?
250,000.
So it will always be difficult. So I don't think that that will affect Accra House of Folk coming into the season. For me, they have a team that can dominate the Ghana League for seasons, and I think that that will be their main concentration. If they keep dominating the league, if they keep the players together, and one thing that House of Folk will benefit is because they have kept majority of their players, apart from Benjamin and Futu that left. They haven't really...
Felix, not to catch you in here, we all would agree that financially our Ghanaian clubs cannot compete with our North African neighbors, but don't you feel the technical bench of House of Folk actually did not actually match up to the standards that will be needed in Africa, considering Samuel Boadu winning the Ghana Premier League, winning the Africa, he's won it all, and then going into Africa, supporters had so much belief in him, and then he went there and he lost.
Well, I will be a bit surprised to see, you know, Hearts of Folk fans having so much hope of qualifying or winning against with that. If you look at the last 3 visits by Ghanaian champions to the north of Africa, it has been abysmal. Kotoko went there, got whipped by Elali. Ediana went there, took 6.
Within 18 minutes, Kotoko were wall of 4 goals.
Ediana also within, I think the first half were down by 4 goals.
4 goals, yeah.
Accra Hearts of Folk the same thing after 22 minutes. So
they were down by 4, yeah.
It is not about technical. I think that it is the cash. I'm saying the cash because look at last season. We had Kwame Poku from Kotoko.
Yeah.
He left to where? North Africa. We had Esso leaving from Dreams FC to North Africa. Now we have Lomote leaving. At the point he was top scorer, leaving for the north of Africa. So we don't have the money to maintain these players. We don't have the money to keep these players in the league. If we had money, Benjamin Futu would have gotten an improved deal to play. So I don't really see
but
that.
Don't you also feel most of these young players' family come into dispute with club owners that their awards would want to go outside and the clubs are preventing them? Don't you also, it's about time that family members of these players should stop harassing management from selling their boys outside?
I don't really think so. I think that in all what we do in terms of our work and all that, we want to improve working conditions and we want to improve, you know, cash when it comes to the services that we are rendering. So if you have a son who is playing for a league where the lowest a player can get is about 400, 500 cedis, why won't you go outside to the north of Africa where you can easily get about $1,000 a month? And I think that every parent will want the best for their kids. So sometimes it is a bit difficult. If we have well-structured pay system or we have a league which has a title sponsor, I think that it can bridge the gap in terms of finances. You ask yourself, how much did Accra House of Folk spend in terms of playing in the last 2 games in Africa? It is a whole lot of money. I'm sure by now the $250,000 that were promised them by the FA, I think they have even exhausted that money in terms of travel, accommodation and all that. So maybe another discussion on this channel, we will talk about what the clubs can do to participate well in Africa.
And also, enough of Hearts of Folk. Let's take a look into Asante Kotoko's pre-season outside Ghana. They went all the way to the Arab Emirates and they played 3 matches there. They were unable to win a single match. They drew 2 and lost. And then reports are coming that these clubs are not Premier League clubs. They're just some minnows in the Arab Emirates.
I don't really see that as a problem. You know, sometimes when you watch the European pre-seasons, most of these big teams normally don't want to engage big clubs in pre-season. You play lower division. Pre-season is all about getting your fitness right. Okay. It is not about results. So if you're a Kotoko fan and you realize that your team went to Dubai and couldn't beat a group of lower division team, it is not a problem at all. It shouldn't be a worry for you. Kotoko want to get their fitness right. And I think that that should be the main challenge. The main challenge is to make sure that the players have gotten to the level in terms of fitness for them to have a good start to the season. So results in pre-season shouldn't matter at all.
But Kotoko signing as many as 14 players into the new season. Do you see that as a hinder in their preparation for the new season, to sign as many as 14 players?
Well, I think for Kotoko, this has been one of their major problems. You know, they keep signing a lot of players anytime the season comes to an end. But then you also ask yourself, how many players have left the team? So sometimes you need to take into consideration all this. If Kotoko, they brought in the goalkeepers at this morning. Felix Annan is no more there. Yeah. The club, Habib Mohammed has left the club, and
Latif Anibal.
Latif Anabila also left. You know, so in situations like this, you really need to bring in players that can augment the squad. And aside that, I think that if you look at they bring in Agadas from Midiama, they brought in Richmond, Lomote from Inter Allies. I think that these are players that will have Premier League experience and they will augment the squad. And we shouldn't also forget that the FA has allowed for more players to be on the bench. The FA has allowed a total registration of 40 players. So they are also looking into the long term. And most of these players that Kotoko are signing are from lower division. I think that not just for Kotoko, but the Premier League clubs, they've done a very good job in trying to go back to what they used to, you know, bringing in Division 1, Division 2 players to augment their squad. So my only problem with Kotoko's number of signings is how quickly they gel together, because it is very, very important that they quickly, you know, understand the philosophy of Kotoko. They get to gel with the team that is already there. Because if you buy a lot of players and they quickly don't adjust to the league, it will be very difficult for you to make huge returns on that.
Do you believe they signing a new technical head on their bench is also going to be a big problem, considering the number of players they've signed in? They have 14 players. They have a new technical head on the bench. Do you feel Prosper Ogumnati is going to be able to gel with these new boys and then the old players as well?
You know, I don't think that will be a problem, because for Kotoko, the spine will always be there. And when I talk about the spine, it means that you have a goalkeeper you can always rely on. There's a defender, there is a midfielder, there's an offensive midfielder, and then there is an attacker. And the Kumi as an attacker, I think that this season will get more games. Fabio Gama, for Kotoko to win the league, a lot has to depend on Fabio Gama, who for me has been one of the most exciting players to watch last season. And he used last season as a means to see how the Ghana terrain works. And I think that he has gotten a fair idea about it. And he's been loved by not just Kotoko fans, but people who have watched the league. Aside that, there is Mudasiru, if he's injury-free, is one of the finest players you have in the league. Then for them, Abdul Ganiu, who has a lot of experience playing for the Black Stars, and then he played almost 30-something games for Kotoko last season. And now he's been made the captain now that, you know, Emmanuel Jamefi has left the club. And then there is Abaloa, Razak Abaloa. So the spine of the team is already there for Prosper Nete Ogum to work with. And I think that you talk about signings earlier about Kumasi Asante Kotoko, but for me, the most important signing come the end of the season might be Prosper Nete Ogum, because he has so much experience in the Premier League. You look at what he did with Wafa. I don't really think anybody at all would have given Wafa, you know, the doubt of becoming the second place team in the league last season. And he did that with a fairly, you know, unknown youth at Wafa. So how much more with the experience that Kotoko have? And he coming in, and he's not just, you know, a coach, he's a doctor. He knows how to condition players. He knows how to psychologically psych players up for games. And I think that Kotoko, what the other problem maybe that might come in is if Kotoko will be patient with them. And when I talk about patience, now Kotoko will have to be playing at the Baba Sports Stadium. There's huge pressure. Will supporters give him time if results are not going his way?
I was going to come there, but winning, playing Wafa and then placing fourth is like a party. So but with Kotoko, they accept nothing than the league trophy.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying that Kotoko fans have to limit their expectation.
Okay.
You limit your expectation because you have a lot of new players coming in. You limit your expectations because you are bringing in a new coach. You don't expect them to walk straight in and then do magic. That is the thing. Because now you are playing at the Baba Sports Stadium. Understand that this is a fairly new coach who is trying to get used to his players and try and find a way that will be suitable for the club.
But Felix, let's take a look at what Nanayo Amposan said. He said, for Kotoko not playing at their favorite Baba Yara Stadium, they would have won the league long ago, but they have to be playing outside Kumasi. Do you take that in at some kind of encouragement to their teaming fans that are coming back to Baba Yara? Kotoko are favorites to win the league now.
Well, we all feel comfortable at home. You know, we all feel comfortable at home. But I don't really want to believe that assertion in the sense that there have been times Kotoko have played at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium and Adriana has won the league. There have been times Kotoko have played at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium while Stars have won the league. There have been times Kotoko have played at Baba Yara Sports and then Brekum Chelsea have won the league. Yeah. And even Asofok have won it when Kotoko were playing at Baba Yara Sports Stadium. And Kotoko themselves, they've won Novelty League, not playing at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Yeah, sure. Accra Folk at the time played the entire season at Cape Coast. And they won the league. So I don't want to believe that. Maybe, for me, I think financially, Kotoko stand a huge chance of benefit in the sense that I I can't imagine Kotoko first game at Baba Yara and the supporters will have a feel of who Fabio Gama is. So for Nana, I'm sure that his marketing team would love to build that Kotoko brand with them coming into the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. And it's a new stadium. They want to finish the league winning it there at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. But I don't really think that, you know, that excuse, I don't really want to buy into that excuse.
They have new strikers coming from Cameroon as well. That is going to at least give them some money at Baba Yara as well.
We just hope so.
Okay, so Felix, I'll move away from the top 2 teams in the country. We've seen some signings for Kim Faiza. They've done some brilliant signings after their striker left to South Africa, Orlando Pirates. They've brought in this striker from young striker from Asante Kotoko, who previously had some stints with them, Ibrahim Osman. They've signed 1 or 2 players, Emmanuel Sarkodie and co. Do you feel the other clubs are also up to standards for the coming season?
Well, I think so. Every team, or let's say there are 16 teams in the league, would always look up to Hearts and Kotoko, because the target is, should in case you finish above Hearts and Kotoko in the league, you are likely to be champions. And there are some teams I've termed mid-table teams, and there are some teams I see them as pretenders of winning the league. That means around 3rd and 4th. Adriana, for instance, I see them as one of the, not contenders, but pretenders. They will pretend as if they want to win.
Would you classify how do you Ashgood as one of them?
Of course, Ashgood, Midiama, those are the teams. Karela, for instance, I'll put them into that bracket. For Kimface, I think that their main aim now will be to finish mid-table. They don't want to go into the stress of having to survive on the last day of the season. So their main target, and I think that Lalaju Gusa will tell them, I don't want that pressure. I want us to have a good start. And for Faisal, it is also good for them to come back to Baba Yara Sports Stadium, because a lot of the supporters are, you know, willing to see them there. So for me, I think that their main aim will be for them to finish in mid-table. But for Adriana, Midiama, I want to see them challenge Accra Hearts of Oak. But I think if you look at the teams that are the rest of the teams, I think Legon Cities, if you look at they having Maxwell Kunedo at the start of the season, you look at the acquisitions that they've brought into their team. They signed Mohamed Rashid from 11 Wonders. I saw that this afternoon, and he was one of the best defenders we have in the league last season. I think that is a very good, you know, signing that they've brought in Michel Otu from how do you call it, Great Olympics.
Yeah.
And I think that they are building something solid. And I just hope, yesterday I had a chat with Kwame Jumo, who happens to be their communication director, and he said this time around they don't want to repeat the mistakes of last 2 seasons, but they want to keep on and fight for the league. And I think that they can do that. Talk about Great Olympics. For Great Olympics, they had a very good season last time, but I think that most of their success that they chalked last season was basically 50% Glasson Awaku. Now they don't have the Awaku, because trust me, look at the quality of goals that Awaku scored. Look at the man of the match performances. You look at his leadership qualities. Would Great Olympics have somebody like that? I don't think so. They will lack the goals from Awaku. They will lack his leadership quality. A lot of teams come to their Accra Sports Stadium to play Great Olympics, and the first thing is, how do we stop Awaku?
Yeah.
Do they have such a player? I don't think so. But they've made a very good acquisition in George Asamoah, who plays for the Buswan Drafts.
Yeah.
And I think that he's a very, very good player. But as to if he's had the status of Glasson Awaku, that would be a major problem. And I think that for me, this is how I see the other teams. And maybe later we talk about the teams that have been promoted, and then I'll give a take on that.
Time will tell, but then good you bring it up, because we have 3 new teams coming from the Division 1 League. We have Accra Lions representing Zone 3, we have RTU, and then we have BBN Good Stars. How do you envisage their performance, and then are they ready to stay in the Premier League?
Well, ready for the 3 teams. I think that if you look at the 3 teams in the zone, surprisingly, they all finished 65 points. They all won their Zone 1, Zone 2, 65 points, and that is very, very impressive. Let's look at RTU. RTU, for me, I am super excited because they are back into the Premier League. I'm saying that because I love to see the traditional clubs playing in the league. And match week 1, they play Great Olympics. Maybe when we get into the fixture, I'll talk a bit about that. But I'm happy that, you know, the edifice at the Tamale Sports Stadium, or Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium, will witness a Premier League game. And for RTU, the key to their survival will be home support. Because the people of Tamale have been yearning for Premier League football. Now they have it. It means that they need to come out and support their team. And one key tool that might help them, it could be an advantage and disadvantage in the sense that they will have to be traveling down
to the south. Yeah, a lot of matches. Yeah,
that are within the southern sector of the country, and that could be a disadvantage to them. But in a sense, too, it could also be an advantage for them in the sense that most of the teams will have to travel to Tamale.
Yeah.
And you might get to Tamale a bit tired, and RTU will take advantage of that. Imagine, let's say, Accra to focus a midweek game on Wednesday, but they have to travel to Tamale on Sunday.
Sunday play, yeah.
RTU, how do they return? Maybe we have to give them one.
House of Folk has got the African World.
Well, we don't, but how about other teams? You know, talk about Accra Lions, talk about Legon Cities and co. So RTU might have advantage of a lot of teams traveling out there, getting there very, very tired, and that could work for them. You talk about Bibiani Gold Stars. I think that Bibiani Gold Stars, financially, they won't have a problem because they have a mining company supporting them. Yeah. And in the league, finance might not be a problem. You might have the money, but you can still get relegated. And I think that
Legon City is on my mind.
Legon Cities, well,
they nearly
survive. Accra Lions, they are one of the teams that play beautiful football. They have a foreign coach. They have most of the players from other West African countries, and that is one key. They are more like an academy team, and those players or those teams are very difficult to beat. And I think that for me, technically, they have a technical team that can help in their survival.
Yeah.
So if you take the three teams, I think that Bibiani Gold Stars might be the one to struggle, but I really see RTU surviving because aside that, they also have good people supporting the club financially, and they are the brains why RTU qualified to play in the league.
The vice president.
I don't
the vice president.
But I think that for RTU, among the two teams, RTU, Accra Lions are the teams that I see surviving.
Okay, great. So if you're going into the predict, if I'm pushing you to predict the score lines or who's going to carry the day in match day 1 in the GPO, we start with the first match happening Friday night here at Accra Sports Stadium. It's going to be new entrants Accra Lions against Elmina Sharks.
I'll go for the Lions to tame the Sharks.
The Lions to tame the Sharks. Yeah. How come the Sharks come out from the waters and they tame the Lions on the ground?
Well, but this is the home of the Lions. So, I expect them because I've watched a couple of their games in Division 1 and even a couple of friendlies at Accra Sports Stadium. I think that they have a very exciting squad. Sharks have lost a lot of players, and that could play to their disadvantage, and that's the reason why I put some money on Accra Lions to win this.
Would you come out with some scoreline, or you just go out for the win?
Well, maybe 2-1.
2-1 for Lions. Okay, so let's look at the next game on Saturday. Dreams FC hosting Asante Kotoko here on Saturday afternoon.
Well, I would have given a different prediction if the game had come on in day.
They will, yeah.
But now here at Accra Sports Stadium, I expect the Kotoko fans to even overshadow that of the Dream. So I think Kotoko should win by 2-0.
Okay, so we go to Hearts of Folk. Let's say the landlords of the Accra Sports Stadium. They're playing home to Legon Cities here on Sunday.
As a Phobian, my heart wish that we start the season with a huge win. But this is a game that has so much draw written on it. If Hearts of Folk should win, it will be by a slim margin, maybe 1-0 or 2-1.
Okay, then RTU playing home to Great Olympics in Tamale.
Well, I think they will win. They will win huge by maybe 3-0.
Okay, 3-0?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes, the first game in Tamale, they want to win.
Against the Wonder Club, don't forget.
Yes, against the Wonder Club. So that is another dicey thing because if a team should cause wonders, it has always been
Great Olympics, yeah.
I remember last season, I never gave them a chance in
Sogakope.
Sogakope and even in Takwa.
Takwa, yeah.
They surprised me. But I think that the vibe and the atmosphere in Tamale on Sunday would push RTU to victory. And that's the reason why I'm going for them to win.
Okay, so Bechem United against Midiama.
Midiama,
Bechem playing home.
Yeah, I think that Bechem should win that by 2-0.
Then the new entrants again, Bibiani Gold Stars playing home to Brekum Chelsea.
Brekum Chelsea. I feel that game should be ending in the draw, maybe 1-1 in that particular game.
Alaji Gunses King Fez against Wafa.
Wafa. That game will come on in Techima. I think that Wafa should win that.
And then we're seeing Karela playing home to Adriana FC.
Well, Camp Park used to be a fortress, but last season and a couple of results didn't really make it that much a fortress. But I think that they have enough to have a very good start. They've got some quite good players from the Division 1 league, and players from Nzima and the western part are very good. So I expect them to, on the AstroTurf, I expect them to get back to how good they used to be. So I'm giving them a 2-0 win over.
And then finally, to climax mark day one, we have Techima 11 Wonders playing host to Ashanti Gold with all their troubles.
I don't know which of the troubles. If it's Techiman.
No, Ashanti Gold troubles.
Well,
Till now, we do not know the verdict on the.
But we are just hoping that whichever verdict comes won't affect the start of the season. I just hope that the verdict won't, because we want to have a smooth league and all that. But I think that this particular game is a bit tricky one. I'll go for a scoring draw in that game.
A scoring draw. Do you see the comeback of Setosay going to do some magic for Ashanti Gold to come out with some win? Maybe
for Ash Gold, they haven't really let go a lot of players, and for me, I think that you watch them, especially how they play away. They are very difficult side to beat, and 11 Wonders, they have a lot of problems, technical problems, financial problems and all that. So if Ash Gold can take advantage of that, then they might get a good result in Techiman.
Felix, your general expectations of this brand new season?
Well, I expect the season to be better than last season. In everything we do, we expect an upgrade, and I'm super excited that this time around we have more games on TV. The broadcast rights holders, Star Times have promised to show about 150 games, so that is super excited. I'm super excited for that. Aside that, to referees this season, it is very important, because hooliganism and bad officiating always go hand in hand. They are like twin brothers, and I'm very happy that the FA during their lunch said they are rewarding the best referee with a car. I'm sure the price of the car might be around 50,000, 60,000 cedis. The first runner-up in the league gets 80,000. So if you are a referee and you are getting a car, it means that you are getting close to what the second runner-up in the league is getting. So it is very important that the referees give us good game. I've realized that when the league starts, in the first round we get good officiating, but second round, at the business side of the season, then things doesn't go well. So I'm just hoping and praying that the referees will give us good games. We don't want to come and sit here and talk about bad officiating and subsequent review. We want to talk about how good Fabio Gama was, how good Richard Atta made some savior at Accra Sports Stadium. The game should be about the players. It shouldn't be about officiating. So that is one thing I want to. And we should try as much as possible to limit or even to get rid of much of convenience and all that. We don't want to finish the league and then there will be matches being about betting and all that. So my expectation is that we will do better than we did last season, and hopefully maybe before the end of the season we'll get some headlines from that.
Thank you so much, Felix Romack, for having you here at the Accra Sports Stadium for our inaugural season review show. We hope to see you more on LTF TV as the season moves ahead. Then viewers, thank you so much also for sticking and staying with us on LTF TV. We promise to give you more seasonal review shows as the season continues to move into the last day of the Premier League season. This is LTF TV season review show. We'll be back same time next week. But don't forget, we're coming back again this weekend with Fans Arena, where we get to speak to fans about the views, the performance of players, and all the actions, banter, wine is on the stadiums. So don't get it twisted. Stick and stay with LTF TV. We are here. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube at LTF TV. Come to Facebook, LTF TV, and then follow us on Twitter at LTF_TV. Thank you. My name once again has been Ben Osebusu. I'm your host for LTF TV Season Review Show. Thank you. See you same time next week.